All right, we're live and it's recording. All right, welcome everybody to this master class on systems. So my intention and goal today is to share with you the systems that make a business scalable. One of the things I've been running into lately on some of the conversations I'm having with property management business owners that I'm realizing is that a lot of you all deep down inside know that if you added more doors, your life would not personally get better right now. And so I'm going to see, Morgan wanted me to create a poll. Morgan is one of our coaches. Hi, Morgan. She's here with us. I'm going to put here, how do I do this? Question. This is my first time making a poll. Would life get better personally with 100 more doors? All right. So, yes, I'm scalable. And then the answer will be no, not currently. All right. So, are you scalable? All right. So one of the challenges I run into, so let's see, can I click save? Do you guys see this now? I've got somebody asking to join the group.
I already did it, Jason.
Oh, I don't know why it's floating. All right. So I'm just going to click it to get out of the way. It bugs me. I can't ignore it. Are you?
A minute and a half.
All right. How many of you would probably identify a little bit as ADHD and things distract you? Anyone else? Just me? Okay. Chris is trying to make me feel good. He's like, sort of. You're weird, but I'll help you out. All right. So thanks, Chris. Are you scalable? All right, launch. All right, so here, we'll do this poll. So, and before you answer this question, what I want you to ask yourself is, right now, if I threw 100 more doors onto your plate, would your life personally be better in your business, or would your life be worse? Most people, especially in the 200 to 400 door range, or even if you're smaller, your life would be worse if you added more doors. And so what happens is unconsciously, we are in resistance. Like, you can probably go add more doors. You probably know how to do that if your life depended on it, or somebody put a gun to your child's head and said, you know, go get 100 more doors or the kid gets it, right? Like, you could probably do it, but a lot of us don't really want to. We don't really want to unconsciously, or our subconscious is reversed against that because we know the business will make more money. Maybe that it would be nice to have more money, but we know our life would get shittier. Like, we would have to do more work because you have not fully exited the front line of work in the property management business, which is the very first exit. A lot of you think in order to someday not have to post a notice on a door or not have to show a property, you have to sell the business. That's the fifth exit. There's a whole series of exits in between. And so, so answer this. We're seeing it's about half. Like, some of you say, I'm scalable. I can handle 100 doors every year and like we could just do it. Some of them, no, not currently. And some of you probably are like, well, I want 100 doors. I'll do it, but I'll figure it out. Right. If that's you, put no.
50-50.
Yeah, it's still going. All right. I think everyone's answered, 100% answered. So, okay. So the poll results is yes, 55%, no, 45%. And I would guess some of y'all would probably have some growing pains if we threw another 100 doors into your lap over the next, 2 months. All right. How many of you would feel a little bit of growing pain if you got another 100 doors in the next few months? By show of hands. Yeah. Okay. All right. Half of you are honest. Okay, thank you. All right, so cool. So let's get into this. I'm going to see if I can share my iPad. No, I want to share this screen real quick, and we'll give you an overview. And let me pull up my notes here, and we'll get into this. So, I wanted to share. I want to share a video real quick from one of our clients that we just got last weekend. Let me see if I can. How do I get out of full screen here? Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. YouTube, DoorGrow. And I'm going to see if I can turn the volume up so you can hear it through my mic, because I'm not sure how to play computer audio through Zoom here. Okay, let me pause this. Jeff's flirting with me at the beginning here, but you can ignore that part. All right, so let me see here. So let me see, share screen. And I just want to kind of help some of you see something that's maybe possible. Jeff's only been a client for 4 months. All right. Can everybody see this? Okay.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can crank up the volume and give me thumbs up if you can hear this.
You're a handsome guy in real life. You're way more handsome than you are online.
Can we hear?
Yeah. No, I thought you looked good, but you look really good in real life, man. Yeah.
All right, so what do you think about this event?
So
There's lots of different events,
Yeah.
conferences, coaching programs.
it was a good combination of education, content, networking. It was the one event that went freaking 8-9 hours, but flew. Honestly, it was like a mixture of a mastermind and an educational event with all the feedback. And that is sometimes more valuable to me than someone being in front of the room teaching. Being a visionary, you will lose me quick. And the room kept me for 2 days. I've been to a lot of stuff like this. I've done some of these on the other side of the real estate business, and you guys do a great conference. Then, packed and quick.
What would you say to other people? There's lots of property management conferences.
Yeah.
What would you say to
All right, I'm
them?
going to skip ahead.
Program to sell you to learn how to do it. This is,
There's a program, because
Mhm.
you're making some big changes.
yes. DoorGrow has given me the mindset and the skills that I need to grow management and bring doors in.
Let's talk real situation, right?
Yeah.
So like one of our coaches, Clint,
Yes.
been working with you, and what have you been doing?
Well, long story short, since I've joined DoorGrow, and I don't know, it's been 4 or 5 months. I mean, this is going to be a nice clip here because it blows my mind even to say it. But the reality of it is, I brought in about 260 doors in these 4 or 5 months. Now, I did buy 220 of them. Through Clint coached me through how to do acquisitions, how to find acquisitions. I found it, called them, told them, had an appointment. He said, "Okay, say this and this and this." I went, said this and this. Went to the next step. He said, "Now email this." I emailed that, and I just followed the steps all the way through, and I closed yesterday. While I was here, actually.
What would have been like doing it without a coach?
I wouldn't have found it. I wouldn't have known to do it. That wasn't a thing when I came to DoorGrow. Go acquire someone else's doors and grow by hundreds overnight. It was, how do I get the systems and processes and which people do I put in place so that I can go out there and grow one door at a time, but rapidly, And so one of the calls was Clint talking about doing acquisitions. And I just went, wait a minute, that's what I want to do. Why? I'm going to search for doors. I'm going to search for people that have 5 doors, 10 doors, 15 doors, as many as I can find. But at the same time, I'm going to also fish for companies that might be wanting to get out of management, or maybe realtors who accidentally have a management company because they work with investors. The investors wanted them to keep the management. Now they have 100 doors and they really don't want it. And I can go offer to take it off their hands and give them money. And so learning that, hearing him say that, I just changed my mindset and I switched gears.
Tell everyone how many doors you started.
I started with 150. Okay, so now I'm at 420.
With DoorGrow, you started at 150.
Yes,
You're going to 420.
yes.
And you don't have to say about that. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Here's what I want to say. So we have the DoorGrow code. You've seen the DoorGrow code, right?
Yes,
You started at 150.
yes.
You're like in the early stage on that code. Do you think it's possible for you in a short time you could be at 1,000 doors?
I have no doubt in my mind I'll be at 1,000 doors in less than a year and a half. In a year and a half. I want to be in 2 years from the time I started. And I'm at 420. And I've been here like 4 months.
And do you know how ridiculous that sounds to most people that have the same number of doors you had when you started the DoorGrow?
Yes, because I wasn't anticipating that. I wanted 1,000 doors, but I was thinking 3 to 4 years, but I didn't limit myself.
How hard or how different would it be without DoorGrow to go down there?
I probably, and I'm not a quitter, but I know when to turn directions. I probably would not have made it far. I probably would have redirected myself and do another part of real estate or another business. Knowing what I know now, I knew none of what I know now. And I've been in real estate for over 20 years. I've done over 3,500 transactions on wholesales and flips, and I own 110 rentals myself at my peak. So I know how to buy real estate, but I had no idea how to do a management business. Now, let me say this, I've changed my property manager. I've changed the whole team except one person in these 4 months because of what I learned from DoorGrow. I realized I had none of the right people. So I've changed the whole company except for one person. I would not have the capability to take on these doors if I wouldn't have done that. Now, the acquisitions was a big part of it. I wouldn't have the doors without learning about acquisitions, which Clint taught me. But it was really putting the infrastructure in place beforehand that's enabling me to do that and feel comfortable and knowing my team is going to successfully pull this off. We might have some hiccups, but I have the team in place and we have the resources to fix any errors that come along. So that is the important part. That is why I wouldn't be a management company without DoorGrow, because I didn't know what I didn't know. I had a horrible team for this. I just didn't know it.
So my team, the DoorGrow team, we were like playing self here.
All right, that's enough of that. Okay, so what I wanted you to realize from that is that, I mean, he's a property manager like many of you. He had 150 units already. He was doing okay. He now can see very clearly he could be at 1,000 doors. He believes it in like a year and a half that he can do that, like 2 years from joining with us. How many of you believe you could get to 1,000 doors? Like deep down, you believe it's possible. Okay, those of you that are like maybe not raising your hands, or maybe you're thinking, I don't want 1,000 doors because my life would be worse if I got 1,000 doors. Here's what I want you to realize, is that any one of you can do it. Jeff is not smarter or better looking. He has bigger muscles than probably all of you, but that's the only thing he's got up on all of you. Okay, so he works out. But Jeff, if he can do it, you can do it too. I want you to realize that. Like, I believe in all of you. The fact that you're on a call like this probably suggests it's possible for you. It's possible for you. Businesses that have 1,000 doors they're not smarter than the business owners, aren't smarter than other people. They build really good teams. They get really good systems. And one of the key systems we'll talk about is people. Jeff needed a better people system before he could go out and do an acquisition. So that was one of the very first things we installed, and we went quickly. He like replaced his team, right? Some of you deep down inside, and I'm not going to ask you to show hands because maybe your team members are listening or they're nearby, but some of y'all know you need some better team members, right? Like in order to get to that next level, you may need or more team members or something. And so that is one of the key systems. So let's get into some of these systems. And he mentioned the DoorGrow code. How many of you are familiar with the DoorGrow code by show of hands? Anybody know what that is? Maybe 3. Okay. I'm going to show that because I want you to see the path for growth that's possible. And let me see if I can share this, make this full screen again. View full screen. Okay. Got it. And share. Oh, all right. Every time I do this, the AI on Zoom like raises my hand in the software. It's really annoying. All right. So share screen. And I'm going to show you the DoorGrow code. Okay. Okay, I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb so I don't have some embarrassing text from my kids showing up or something. All right, so DoorGrow code. So the ultimate roadmap for property management entrepreneurs that want to build a business that is built to sell, but maybe that you might not want to sell because you finally built it in a way that is not painful, right? It's an asset. It makes you money and it doesn't stress you out. Okay, so you can see where you are right here. Go ahead and comment in the chat what level you're at. You can, and these are the label here: dreamer, seeker, solopreneur, promoter, builder, delegator, operator, based on the number of doors. And you have to be at $100 a door to count towards that. Otherwise, go to the level previous, right? So if you're a promoter, you got 100 doors, but you're making less than 10K a month, which is $100 a door. which is our minimum recommended goal, then you're in the solopreneur category. So the belt colors, these are belt levels that our clients, they have to hit these door levels plus meet a bunch of requirements. It's like a martial arts system, and that we use to ascend our clients upward. So go ahead and comment in the chat. You're watching the chat, right, Sarah? I'm going to pull this up here.
Mhm.
All right. So we've
Should we
got,
start writing them?
yeah, we've got Builder, Jennifer 433. So if you got the dough at 40K, then you're in the
She's-
operator stage or purple
Yeah,
belt. Yeah.
purple.
Cool. We've got some builders. We got some, cool. Awesome.
Blue belt, purple.
Dreamer.
black,
Okay. We've got a dreamer.
brown,
Awesome.
blue,
Dreamer's got the 0 doors there.
orange, blue, green, fantasy belt.
Okay, cool.
Good mix on the call.
So take a look at where you are on this. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look at we've got time. So in the beginning, usually dreamers are wasting time. They need to get 1 million ducks in a row. They have this fantasy of running a business and they think it's all going to be amazing. And they're deep down inside, they're really in love with the dream and afraid of the reality, right? Because the second you step onto the mat and you get that first door, which is the hardest, you realize you don't know a lot of stuff in order to take on that first door. You've got to have leases. You've got to have property management software. Maybe you've got to have a business entity. You got to have bank accounts. Like there's a lot of pieces you have to get in place. And so that's the stuff that dreamers got to work on. And a lot of times they want everything to be so perfect just to get to the next level. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'll point out that a lot of people get stuck just shy of 100 doors in the solopreneur or yellow belt stage. I call this the solopreneur sand trap. The first sand trap. Dreamers get stuck a lot of times. They spend a lot of time doing stuff that doesn't really matter. And the only thing they really need are clients, but they're working on business cards and websites and all this stuff instead of just signing up clients, right? The second sand trap, I call it, is 200 to 400 doors. So it's usually in this green and blue stage right here, builder or delegator. And sometimes they'll break past 400 doors, but they rarely, they just can't break 600. They just can't do it. And I see a lot of businesses in NARPM stuck here. This is the stage I call the team sand trap. And people get stuck in this space similar to Jeff, who you saw, is that you maybe have the wrong team. And you maybe have a lack of process documentation, and you probably have a lack of accountability on the team, right? Because you're lacking some key systems. So across the bottom, you can see the systems that sort of solve these problems, the key systems you need to get in place. And these are the systems we're going to be talking about today. I'm tried to make them all start with the letter P. So we've got the property management software, we've got perception system, we've got the pipeline system, process system, people system, planning, profit, purchase, and protection. Okay. So we're going to get into, we're not going to talk about all of these. We're going to talk about the ones that are relevant to everybody here. I don't think we had anybody that's at maybe one at red. Anyone above that? Probably not.
Yeah, we had brown and black.
Brown and black. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. All right. So the people at brown and black, you need all of these things really well dialed in, and just little tweaks can make you a lot of money, right? So this will be very advantageous for you as well. Okay. So let's talk about the key systems we need in order to be scalable. So usually people can grow just through sheer willpower. And if you learn how to sell and be an effective salesperson, you become a full-fledged promoter, you can break the 100-door barrier. And by default, usually within a year or two, just like if you just keep going, you're going to end up in the most painful spot I call sometimes the swamp of success, which is in that 200 to 400 door range. You're going to end up somewhere in there, and you're going to end up a little bit stuck. And the reason is there's a lot of reasons, but we tend to build our teams the way the solopreneur thinks. And so we have a lot of team members asking us a lot of questions, which is why we ask the question, how do I get my team to think for themselves? Anyone ever ask that question? Why won't my team just think for themselves and stop asking me questions? In the beginning, we love that. They're asking us all the questions. We feel so smart. But quickly we end up, if we allow that to continue, as the emperor or the empress with no clothes, because they just want to say yes to everything that we say and tell us we're amazing and we look great, even if we're wearing nothing, right? If you know the story of the emperor with no clothes. All right. So, so we need to make sure we get a process system, we get processes documented that allows us to feel safe if we lose a team member and to get a new team member up to speed quickly. Property management businesses, like any business, will have some turnover with team members, and you have to have this system solidly in place if you want to be scalable. You need process. For us, our software for this is called DoorGrow Flow. I will probably show that a little bit later. It's really cool, and it's very different than what else is on the market. But you need a really good process system. There's other ones like Process Street. Lead Simple has a process component to it. There's several others out there. I think DoorGrow Flow is unique and the best because it's more like a Visio flowchart type of tool where you can visually map stuff out and your team can see visually how it's mapped out. Most people start with some sort of visual map of their process and then try to translate it into some sort of to-do or checklist item, which gets a little messy and then people can't really clearly see. And it's too linear because in property management, we have decision trees. We have decisions that need to be made. Do they have pets? Yes or no? And do they so that you can have decisions where it splits and it goes down different paths. That can happen in DoorGrow Flow. All right. So the next system that is really significant if you have a team that you're going to need is a people system. This is the system that helps you hire and get really good people. You need to be able to hire, replace quickly, get new team members quickly if you're going to have a scalable business. Most businesses I see that finally get to 600 units, usually just through sheer will and trial and error and basically like reverse Russian roulette, they've eventually acquired a decent team through lots of trial and error. But a lot of them, if they lost that entire team, they probably don't really have the machine in place to replace all of them quickly, which means they don't really have the people system. They've just done it for a decade, and Russian roulette over time, they finally shot a few bullets that have worked, right? And so you need a really good people system, and you might have people on your team right now that are not your dream team members. And so here's how you can know whether or not you have the team members. I'll share one framework real quick called the 3 fits. But if you don't have ideal team members, this is what ends up happening. This is what your org chart ends up looking like, because everyone comes to you with questions and you have to answer their questions. So really, you sort of have a team member that's just coming to you. So this is what your real org chart looks like. This is not a scalable business, this org chart. All right. Anyone feel like this might be your org chart a little bit? I've been there. Like I've had this. I see some smiles. Yeah. This is not a great org chart. You're paying people, but it's still on you at every step. Somebody's going to come to you and say, hey, how do I do this? Or like, what do I do with this problem? Right. That means you might have people that are not what I call the 3 fits. So this people system, the foundation of what we build out for clients, which is DoorGrow Hiring and DoorGrow ATS, which stands for Applicant Tracking System. So one of the key systems you're going to need is an applicant tracking system. So you need to make sure that everybody in your team are a culture fit, a personality fit, and a skill fit for their role. Now, I want you to understand that right now, you as a business owner are probably not the 3 fits for all the hats that you're wearing, which means you're not the right personality fit. Like if you hate sales, you should not be the BDM for much longer, right? That means you're not the personality fit. If you hate accounting, you probably shouldn't be handling that stuff, right? You're not the personality fit. You don't naturally wake up in the morning excited to do it. You're not a personality fit. You might have team members right now that do not wake up in the morning excited to go to their job with you. That means they are not the personality fit. And it may mean they're not the culture fit. Now, the personality means they naturally are motivated to do this job. They love doing it. They want to get better at it. They enjoy it. Not everybody enjoys sales. Not everybody enjoys accounting. Not everybody enjoys, what else? Operations. And that's a unique personality type, right? Now, they might be the right personality fit. Now, skill can be taught. You cannot teach personality. You cannot teach somebody, here, I'm going to teach you how to be a different personality. Now you're going to be an extrovert and love people, right? It's not going to work. Skill, though, can be taught. You can teach skill. And so this is the one of the 3 fits that you can move the needle on. Culture fit. You cannot teach culture. Culture means they share your values. This is usually the invisible ingredient that is missing from most businesses that they can't see and they don't think is relevant. They go and try and find people that can have the skill. Maybe if they get to the next level, they hire people based on do some personality assessments and they find somebody that might be actually good in that role. So they have these two, but culture fit, usually this is just Russian roulette over time. Eventually the crappy B players like filter themselves out and you get some good people over the long term, but that could take a decade to build a team that way. Culture fit means they share your values, which means you can trust them. You trust them to make decisions the way that you would. And not all values are wrong. They might be different than yours, right? Some of you might want everything done on properties to be high quality. Do it the best way possible so that in the long run, there's going to be a lower operational cost on the property. And some of you are like, no, for me and my owners and for my market, we do everything as cheap as possible. This is how we operate. Two different values, neither of them are wrong. It depends on how you want to run your business. It depends on your market. It depends on what your clientele are seeking that you are trying to attract, right? And so that's a different value. So you need to make sure you're really clear on your 3 or 4 company core values. If you have more than that, and we teach this, but if you have more than that, then you really value everything and it means you really value nothing, right? And so you're just like, everything's important and nothing really ends up being really critically important for your team. So you need to make sure you have really strong culture fits. If they're a good culture fit and a good personality fit, but they don't have the skill, they match these two, they can be trained. If they're a culture fit and a skill fit, but not a personality fit for the role, they'll never be great at it. You will try and train them. This will drain you. You will answer a million questions. You probably have team members right now that are just frustrating the hell out of you. That's why they are not the right personality fit for the role. You will never motivate them enough to want to do the thing that you want them to want to do. They're not the personality fit. I see some of y'all looking at each other and smiling. Yeah, I see all of you. All right, so personality and skill. Let's say their personality and skill fit, but they're not a culture fit. You will never trust them. This is the challenge that most solopreneurs have when building a team is they feel unsafe delegating and letting go of stuff. I promise you, when you finally get really good culture fit, personality fit, and skill fit people, you will feel more than safe letting go of the things that you've been holding on to. More than safe. You will finally let go, but you cannot have that safety to let go of things and to delegate until you get somebody that's really sharp, that's a culture fit. Okay. Those of you that are early stage, dreamers, white belts, I want you to know this. This is the clone myth when it comes to building your people system. You think you can go find somebody like you who's highly adaptable, who can wear 17 different hats in the business and can do everything. Those are called entrepreneurs and they don't want to work for you. I'm just letting you know, right? So, and if they did, they really are just trying to learn your business so they can steal your clients and like start their own property management business because they're like you. Okay. So this is the reality, the clone myth. You can't find somebody just like you. You don't want to. You need to find people that you can slice off different personalities and different hats. And it's going to take like 10 people to duplicate you and probably about 200 to 400 doors to be able to afford to build that team. You need at least 5 people to be happy in your property management business, I think. So, and they need to be good fits. So this is a people system is a key system that you need to get in place. And you need to build a really good team. Many of you might resonate with this right now. Like in your business, you're a little bit frustrated. You're wearing some hats and still doing some things and some jobs and some tasks that you don't enjoy doing, which means you are operating, you're a circle peg, but you're trying to fill this bigger square sort of piece. And then you're starting to build, or you built a team around you. So that means you have the wrong team because you've built it around the wrong person at the center. So one of the key things we did with Jeff that we want to do with our clients is we want to make sure we get you clarity on yourself and we start to build the right team around you. We need to build the right clarity first for you. That is really important. Then we're going to build that people system around you. This is a requirement to go to the next level. To have a scalable business, you need a solid people system for vetting candidates. We have AI assessments we do for our clients. We have DoorGrow hiring process. We have our iHiring application process. We have all of that. We've got a funny video called Bad Hiring on YouTube. You should all check out. And you get to see Sarah pretend to be Anna Delvey and some other characters. So it's worth watching. So that's I think enough on the people system. So there's those two systems. Once you have good people, then we can kind of roadmap you out of leadership hell. We have a whole process for getting you out of that. So let's talk about, once you have a good team, let's talk about the next major system that you're going to need. Actually, I mentioned the process system. So I know a lot of you at that second sort of level, that second sand trap, feel like I just need more processes. A lot of you, and I want to address that sort of myth. I have a whole slide for this, right? How many of you resonate with this? Deep down inside, you know you don't have team members that are all the three fits. So you have, if you're really honest, the wrong team. You are wearing wrong hats currently. You're already micromanaging your team. What that means is they're coming to you with all the questions and you are checking in on them. How'd this go? Did you do this? That's micromanaging. Everybody says, oh, I don't believe in micromanaging. But when I ask questions, almost everybody's doing it. They think, a lot of the business owners at this stage think they need more processes and more KPIs to control their staff more. They want to squeeze blood from their team members from a stone, basically, like they're trying to get more juice from them, and they think they just need more processes, more KPIs. Basically, I need to micromanage my team more to get better results. That's not actually true. What you really need is culture defined, get clarity on yourself, and you need people that are the three fits. And there's pain perceived. We talked about this in our poll. There's pain perceived pain connected to getting more doors. And really, you likely know how to grow, but your focus is elsewhere. You're not focusing on growth because you're thinking, oh, I just need more processes. If you are a visionary entrepreneur, personality type, you are not the right personality fit. And you probably don't even have the skill fit, but you're not the right personality fit to be creating the processes, which is why you have entrepreneurs at this stage endlessly say, I need more processes. I'm working on our processes. And they're not really making a whole lot of headway there because really it's not fun. It's not fun for you. An operator who's the right personality fit would like to get that stuff done. Like they would enjoy it, which is weird, right? It's different than you. All right. So that would be the process system. Let me show you DoorGrow Flow. Here's a screenshot of it. Really cool. Now this is just a screenshot, so I can't actually do it. Actually, I can show you right now, actually. But basically, you can drag and drop any of these pieces and you can build out really complicated processes. Like, do they have a pet or whatever it is? And you can have decision splits. You can have merges where it comes back together. And once you build this out, then on each step, you can build out like data entry, form fields, stuff like this. It's super cool. And you can make your processes next level to where your team members can just follow the directions and it's going to be done right every time they do it. They load up a flow and they run that flow. And you can map these out really quickly in DoorGrow Flow. So
one of the things, you didn't mention it, but one of the things I really love about DoorGrow Flow is you can see the timeline of every single piece. So if you have a process for, let's say, onboarding a new tenant, and someone on your team is supposed to do the first step, whatever it is, and let's say they go and do that thing, and then the second step is someone else doing something else on your team, and let's say they don't do it for 2 days, 3 days, a week, right? Then it typically gets stuck. And without being able to see it, you wouldn't know where it's getting stuck. You wouldn't know. You would just know, hey, this thing wasn't done, but why? So with DoorGrow Flow, what's really nice is you can see when a process was run. So like there's a date and a timestamp on everything, and every single piece that's either completed or in process has a date and a timestamp. So you'll be able to see like, hey, like Angela did her first thing. Yay, good for her. But step 2, Brad was supposed to do it and Brad didn't do it. And Brad didn't do it for 3 days. You can also set it to ping people automatically. So like, hey, I don't want it to sit in there for 3 days or a week or 3 weeks or just never get done. What I want is I want them to get an email saying, hey, you didn't do this one thing that was assigned to you. So I'm going to give him 1 day to do it. And if he doesn't, it's automatically going to email him a reminder. So you can set that up in DoorGrow as well, which is really helpful.
So whatever system you use, you need a really good process system. And the rule is process documentation is not a process system. Process documentation is the owner's manual that sits in the glove box of your car that you never look at. That is not what you need in order to run a really effective business. If everybody gets in the car every time to drive it and they never do the basic steps they need to do, they don't check the mirrors, they don't check the gas gauge, you're going to run into problems, right? So that is the real process. But most of you have process documentation and you have no actual process checklist that the client completes, or I mean that your team member completes every time they run that process. And so your process documentation gets outdated over time, it's ignored, and your team members move closer and closer towards what's easier and faster, while your process tends to go towards breakdown or gravitate towards greater simplicity, and not everything gets done, right? Because they're not looking in the glove box and they start to skip steps, they start to do things, and you think they're using this thing that you built a bunch, like put in Google Docs and like built out. You need a process system in which they actually have to run the process each time and use it. But you want it to find that balance between it being like way too cumbersome, like they have to go through and read every step and read the owner's manual before they drive the car, or it's something that's efficient and quick. And if they're brand new, it has enough information that they could follow it. So it should have directions on each step, like this step does. You can see here's the completed steps on this. This is a sample process I was playing around with making. Here, Lisa, your name's on this. And your team members can add comments here. They can mention each other. And then you can see visually where you are on the process right now. And if you want to change it, you can click edit. So what's really cool is, like, here's some maps I just created to map out our growth engines, right? So some of you have joined our Facebook group, and here's our Facebook group growth engine, right? We have Facebook group ad. They go to a Facebook, I'll zoom in here, Facebook group landing page. The leads then entered into HubSpot. They get automatic text and email invites from that landing page. Facebook group join request. They then request to join the Facebook group, hopefully. And then they complete the new member form, my team does, which initiates a drip campaign giving you 5 free gifts or emails or whatever, a soap opera sequence. And then my setter will reach out to do sell by chat and try and get qualified people and get an appointment booked. We get the appointment booked, and then we close the deal. And you can see we have different roles for different stages. You can also assign different roles and different people to different stages in your process. Like if you're doing new client onboarding, you might have the sales team member initiate it, and then it's handed off to your property manager, et cetera. And so you can designate roles and instead of people, so that you can assign people to those roles, so that if you lose a person or somebody else needs to step in, you can temporarily assign somebody in DoorGrow to that role if somebody's out on maternity leave, or you can put somebody new into that category, that role, to work on that. Anyway, that's enough about DoorGrow Flow. It's really cool. I can show, I'll show just real quick. How easy it is to build out processes. So the process starts right away. You can give it a name, test name, and whatever. All right. So, and create flow model. All right. So you can move any of these elements around, and I can grab this and I can drag it around. You can see step 1, I can build a form and design it and put all the data entry that needs to happen.
Click on design
I
so
can
we can
add-
see all of the options.
I can add a new step and go like this, right? And so what do you want me to do?
Click on that and then form and then design.
Okay.
Yep.
So in building a form, there's a bunch of fields: short text, long text, file upload, a table, a drop-down list, option list, checkbox, task list, everything in most forms you've ever filled out on a website before. Multi-selection list, a signature. You can even have it send out like, hey, sign this for approval. So we have a record, currency, email, a number, a date field, a date time field, formula, instruction, attached documents, etc. So you can get pretty wild with this. You can set up conditions for the form as well, add conditions to the form elements. It's pretty cool. So that is that's that. And you can add decision trees and stuff like that, where you can like go, all right, we're going to go to a decision. Oops, we're going to go to decision. And then if it's yes, we'll go to this. And if it's no, we'll go to that and stuff. And so you can just start to build out processes visually. And once you build it out visually as a team, then you can start to figure out, who are we going to assign this step to? Are we going to assign this to a particular team? So what roles do we have? We're going to assign this to our coaches. You might have roles like property manager, maintenance, stuff like this. So, and you can set reminders for a certain number of days. We only want this step to be there for like a day, and then it needs to move on or escalate or whatever. There's deadlines, how much time you plan or estimate it will take. You can even put in estimated cost. Originally, the software company we worked with to develop DoorGrow Flow worked only on municipalities, like cities. And they needed to make software to have processes in the city. They had lots of processes that need to be done for maintaining a city and making sure that their workers at the city and government could follow the directions easily. So that's how we built out. And I thought it would be super awesome to bring this to the property management industry. So
and what's nice is if you do end up getting DoorGrow Flow, there's some pre-done processes that you get too. So
cool.
you don't have to.
Oh yeah, we have like
building all of them.
We have like 30 plus processes. They were built out by some process experts that are Disney trained. I don't know if you know about Disney, and they're really good with process stuff. A property management expert, Joe Oliveri, and her husband, Stacy Pittman, helped us build out those processes. And Stacy is more the tech person, and he's on call, does a monthly call with our clients to help them with DoorGrow Flow and help with processes in our super system. I got to turn my volume down from that video. All right. So that is DoorGrow Flow. DoorGrow OS. 10 minutes. Yep. All right. All right. So let's see. Oh, we do have DoorGrow CRM. We put up a quick landing page, but DoorGrow CRM, super cool software. It has text message automation. It has landing pages. It has calendar scheduling pages. It has, we have all of our different growth engine pipelines mapped out in it. So those of you that are going through some of our growth accelerator strategies with our coaching, I don't know if that landing page is even up yet, but oh, well, you can see it. It looks like this. We put up a quick and dirty one, but the software is really cool. There's an iPhone app for it. It's in the App Store. There's an Android app for it. You can make phone calls through it, text messages through it. It's super, super sweet. And and we built out our property management sort of juice into the CRM for you. And so we're always improving that. We have an expert, Robert, on our team that coaches and supports clients in that. And as you're building out some of your processes, your sales related stuff for acquiring business. So really cool. So that is the, your
CRM.
Yeah, your sales CRM.
Can you talk a little bit more about what the CRM can do?
So
it's very customized.
I mean, the most important piece of the CRM is like tracking your calls and being able to make calls and keep notes on calls. So and tracking your deals in various stages, but it can do things like you can create a text message automation campaign where you can text a group of people. It can leave voicemail drops for you. So you can record a voicemail and then send it out to like 100 people's phone numbers, and it will call their number, even if they answer, it calls them twice at the same time so that the second one of them will be sure to go to voicemail, and then it will hang up the other one and it will drop a voicemail into their voicemail box. And so you can bulk send out voicemails to anybody that you want. It could be to tenants for notice, or, owners, or it could be to potential realtors you want to get for referrals from, or whatever, right? You can do, I mentioned the text messaging, which is really cool, but you can set up text campaigns where if somebody texts you a certain keyword, and you can say like, text me at this number and text me the word, flip, and I'll send you my PDF on how to start your house, do a house flip or whatever, right? So you can set up keywords and set up automation that if you get a certain word or certain response, that certain text messages automatically are sent back out to them with information and stuff. It also has scheduling landing pages. So if you've ever used Calendly or Schedule Once or any of these kind of scheduling tools, it has that functionality in it, and you can customize the look of the page so it really sells you and makes you look good. Those are some of the features. I don't think there's any Lead Simple can't do those kind of things, not to that level. You can do email drip campaigns, which I think you can do that in Lead Simple, but you can't do I don't think you can do voicemail drops. I don't think you can do text automation campaigns like that to that level. And I don't think you have schedule pages. Oh, you can also build funnel pages. So if you have a particular lead magnet, like here's the 9 reasons you might not need a property manager as bait, you can build out a landing page for that. You can put it out on social media, go to this page if you want this free resource, and then it can capture their info and capture leads. So in fact, if you've seen our Facebook ads funnel, it's using DoorGrow CRM. So some of our Facebook ads and funnels are done through DoorGrow CRM. So, okay, that's that. Let me talk. We've got a little bit of time left. I'm going to talk about DoorGrow OS. This is the next level. If you want to take your team to the next level and you want to get, as I had when I first implemented a similar system, 300% growth in a year. Let me load. Oh, present. I closed it. Let's do this. Present. Here we go. And click this. Okay. Okay, so let me show you DoorGrow CRM. So, not CRM, DoorGrow OS. So this is the planning system. So DoorGrow OS, when you install, finally get a really good team, you've got A players. If you want to take those team members to the next level, there's 2 types of time in a business. You can write these down. There's strategic time and there's tactical time. Strategic time is what grows companies and moves them forward. Tactical time keeps you stuck where you're at. Tactical time means you're just getting your day-to-day work done. Most of your team members are happy to just do their tactical work. When you get A players on your team, A players on a team want recognition more than usually than they want money. So you need to understand this. This is very important. If you gave your team members all a DISC assessment, which has the values index, the economic score, which is one of the values, on most team members is going to be low, which means they don't really want more money. But most entrepreneurs have a high economic score. So the mistake I see entrepreneurs make regularly is they try and bonus or compensate performance on their team when their team members don't need that in order to perform better. If their economic score is low, what they actually want from you is more recognition. And visionaries are usually bad at recognizing their team members, and they're great at throwing more money at them. Because as entrepreneurs, we don't want more recognition. We want more dollars, right? And so it's important to recognize that most team members, if you want to increase their performance, they just need their work to be visible, and you need to get them to focus on strategic work instead of tactical work. Strategic work meaning stuff that's working on the business, innovating, moving it forward, coming up with a better idea, a better process, rather than just following a checklist and doing their DoorGrow flow or their processes or their Asana checklist, whatever you've got, right? You want to get your team members to start to function and think like an engine in the business instead of just a cog that the engine has to turn. You need a system like DoorGrow OS. DoorGrow OS, which is short for operating system, is a planning cadence and a planning system for your business in which you set annual goals, which you break down into quarterly goals, which you break down then into monthly goals, which you then break down into weekly commitments, which then means you're moving towards these annual goals, right? Consistently. If you have a really solid system like this in place, now the difference, some of you may have heard of EOS or some of these other operating systems out there. Those are very top down. It's very much like I'm the visionary and I have all the best ideas and I'm going to control my team and throw these all out at them like grenades. And they're all just going to do it because I'm forcing them to in a system. DoorGrow OS is the reverse. We have a planning cadence where we map out what are the basic needs in the business. We brainstorm as a team, and then based on that, we set goals as a team to move the business forward. And so this allows your team to start to function and think like entrepreneurs, function and think as an intrapreneur in your business. It makes them start to move the business forward, and it makes them start to work on the business instead of just in it. And having a system like DoorGrow OS means that the priority for your team members every week, by which they're judged by you and by the team, as to whether or not they got a green yes or a red no for that week. This is actual real screenshot of our weekly commitments. If they get a green yes in front of the team on these things, if they got that weekly commitment done, and these are strategic goals, these are not their daily tactical work that they do every day. This is stuff to move the business forward towards these linked 30-day goals that you see here that would be on this 30-day tab, right? Like we're working on this ROI calculator tool. And so we're like, we need to find a designer to help us like make that form look prettier, right? Is a goal. And that was assigned to me and I didn't get it done, right? So this also allows the team to make the entrepreneur accountable and to like really see that things are moving forward. So I'll show you the next slide. This is a screenshot of our weekly view of our weeks. And you can see the goal is to get 80%. That's when these are green. And that's our goal as a team, is to hit at least 80% completion. Most businesses are not even don't even have goals, but if they do, it's just in the visionary's head and they're trying to shove it down their team's throat. And they're not even hitting 10% of their goals on a weekly or monthly basis. We're hitting 80% or higher usually every week. My team care about this. They work on the weekends sometimes because they want to get green yeses and they don't want to show up in front of the team because they're A players. If you have B players and you install DoorGrow OS, they will quit your business. They hate this level of visibility. They don't like being seen. And what I define as an A player is a believer. They believe in your culture. They believe in your vision. They believe in you as an entrepreneur and as a visionary, and they trust you. B players are hiders. If they're really honest, they would rather get paid as much as possible, do as little work as possible, and complain about you behind your back and live for the weekend. Right? How many of us have had a job like that? Like I have, right? Right? Everybody's had a job like that. That's the default I think in the world is in terms of jobs, right? We want A players. If you have A players, you will get 3 times the output. If you have a system like DoorGrow OS installed, you have a process system and you like DoorGrow Flow, and you have a people system for getting really good team members and, assessing your existing team members, and then you install DoorGrow OS, you will get at least 3 times the output from even good team members. It's magic. This is why, as a company, DoorGrow, nobody can keep up with us. We get so much done every quarter. We just rolled out 4 new software. And, in the last little bit, we're going very fast. We bring in people, we bring in coaches, and we're able to move things forward very quickly. And that's why I'm not worried about the competition. We're innovating. My team members have deadlines and they have constraints. And if you give your team members constraints or deadlines and an outcome, that forces them to start to innovate. Your team members are not innovating right now because they don't have a deadline and they don't have an outcome to work towards. And DoorGrow OS helps you install and create that system and do it in a way that it's based on what the business needs most when you do your planning. So we will work with your operator to get these systems installed. Now, if you don't have an operator, you may want to work with us on that piece first, and we'll help you get a really good operator. And then we can help that operator get these systems all going and in place, or just get you the support that you need so that you can do these things. So the 3 most critical systems, to recap, in order to get your business to that next level. Let me see if I can stop sharing this screen. And let me see if I can share this one instead. and then we're at time. So the three most important systems, I'll just say, three most important systems to make your business scalable is you need a really good people system, you need a process system, and you need a planning system. And all of those we give you access to in the DoorGrow Super System. And if that's of interest to you, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to support you. And we would love to coach and support your operator or help you find and hire an operator by building out DoorGrow hiring with you and get that key person so that you can build and scale your business. And so hopefully this has helped you kind of see a path. Eventually you'll need some other systems like Jeff built a acquisition engine, which is a purchase system for acquiring other companies. And you'll want protection systems for, making your business very safe as you become a target, as you get bigger. And all these different systems we can help you with at DoorGrow. We would love to support you. And I hope this has been helpful and useful for everybody hanging out with us today. So, and that's basically it. I'm happy to hang out for a couple minutes. If anybody has some additional questions, you're welcome to unmute. You can raise your hand, you can ask questions. And I know we've got some clients that are here. If you're in the super system or not yet, you can upgrade into that. And I know we have some past clients here. Welcome. And so if anybody has any questions about any of this, I'll hang out here for a minute. I know Sarah's been answering a bunch in the chat. Any that we should address audibly?
Got them.
Everyone's handled?
Got them.
All right. Maybe
And then
none
if
of you
anyone
have questions.
is part of our super system already, these are all included in your membership. Yay.
Yeah. So normally, somebody asked about AppFolio integration. So most of these systems, there's no real direct need. Like, for example, your sales CRM doesn't need to be directly connected.
It's not CRM, it's DoorGrow Flow.
DoorGrow Flow. No, but most processes are just going to be initiated by a team member. They could be initiated by your tenants. They could be initiated by your owners. You can have a public form they fill out was built in DoorGrow Flow that you put on a website, and it initiates a process. So there, you may not want it to be initiated anyway by something like AppFolio. You might, because usually it's going to be initiated by a phone call, most things in your business. And it'd be better if it was initiated by a form request instead of a phone call, right? So hopefully that's helpful. And AppFolio is not super open about integrations. Most integrations are workarounds with AppFolio because they don't really have an open API. So, cool. Hopefully that answers the question. Any other questions? All right, cool. So if you are now, hopefully all of you are a little bit convinced you can get to 1,000 doors and that it will actually make your life easier and better. If you get a good operator and you get good systems in place, your business then is no longer a burden the bigger it gets. It actually gets easier for you and more fun the bigger it gets because you have more cash, more resources, more support, and then your business becomes more of a dream instead of more of a headache. And that's my goal for everybody. And it's possible for all of you to do. So, and that's it for today. So until next time, to our mutual growth, appreciate all of you hanging out with us. And we hope you learned a little bit about some systems today. Bye, everyone. Oh, lots of thanks. You're all welcome.